not football, baseball. This is our bi-weekly video. Hopefully you're still watching this because hopefully you're dominating your league, doing well in your roto leagues, high in your head-to-head standings. But as always, we're going to start off with a quick little tip from the president and CEO, Dustin Barkwar Barkley.
Not my middle name. Here in the forums, we got a lot of trade questions surrounding Matt Harvey. People are, I feel, jumping the gun a little bit, just assuming that he's going to get shut down this year. Obviously, there is the scare of that, but the piece of advice here is don't trade him away cheap just because of the fear of him maybe getting shut down. The reports that I've been reading are that they're going to look at it and look into maybe doing it. And I know, they're not necessarily in a hunt for the playoffs, but he's still on pace for one of the most impressive seasons in recent history from any pitcher.
Cy Young campaign.
Let's see what this guy can do. The Mets are going to get probably a lot of crap if they shut him down, even if they're not in the playoffs.
Now, that's the thing. I was giving some Dustin a little bit of crap before this, and that's the thing. The Mets aren't going to make the playoffs. So the point that Dustin's making is don't trade him for cents on the dollar. Don't trade him super, super cheap. But if you get a good, solid offer for him, I don't think you're totally against that, are you?
No, but, he got you to where you are. If you have him on your team, you're probably doing really well.
Would you deal Strasburg for him straight up right now?
Yes. But there was one that was basically Shelby Miller for him, or along those lines. No, don't do anything that's just slightly above what you could get on the waiver wire for him. I would rather take the gamble that he continues to pitch.
All right. So let's talk about guys we should be adding in all leagues. And the first one is Danny Farquhar, Dustin's middle name and namesake. And this guy is owned in 30% of leagues right now. Should be owned in a lot more. He's now the closer for the Seattle Mariners. If Seattle wins, it's only by a couple of runs, so he's going to get the save opportunities when they actually win some games. And he's already been producing well. He had another save today. He's had a save in his first time out. So definitely a guy, if you need saves, you should 100% be adding him.
Next, we got a young shortstop for Atlanta, and that's Simmons. Only owned in 55% of leagues. He's not going to give you the best average, but for a shortstop, he already has 29 extra base hits on the year. You don't get normally that type of pop from the shortstop spot. And he's a little guy, too, only 170 pounds. I like his upside moving forward once he can bulk up a little bit.
All right. Take a little protein shake.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Bulk up.
Those extra base hits equal home runs. Because you like guys that hit doubles next year.
Yeah.
He's going to talk about that next year. Just wait.
He already has 11 home runs, too.
There you go. All right, so now let's take a look at deeper leagues. And the first one, and Yankees fans, don't start throwing things at me, it's going to be Alex Rodriguez. Here's the point of it. I know there's so much drama around him, but right now, he's only owned in 30% of leagues. He's probably going to get the chance to play out, if not this entire season, the majority of it at this point. He's going to appeal it. So, if you need some help, go ahead and grab him. It's probably not going to put up stellar numbers, but if you're in a deeper league and A-Rod's available, go ahead and grab him and see what you can get out of it.
And he's going to try his hardest because he wants to shove it to everyone that's giving him a hard time. But I'm going to love when the Yankees have to write that check to a 42-year-old A-Rod.
They might not have to, though. That's the point.
Once he gets back from suspension, he's still under contract.
That's true.
Danny Salazar, starting pitcher for Cleveland, youngster, just got caught up, only on 10% of leagues. Now, I don't necessarily know if his rotation spot is locked in, but they're giving him a chance right now. 93 innings pitched in the minors this year, 129 strikeouts. You gotta love that. His ERA wasn't amazing in the minors, so you expect some blow-up games, but you gotta love guys that can give you those Ks.
All right, next is a third baseman owned in 50% of leagues, and that's Mike Moustakas. Since the break, he's been batting close to, or since the last 30 days, he's been batting close to 300. He's had 4 bombs, so he's been playing pretty well. And I want to just kind of temper this. I know in deeper leagues, so you're thinking, all right, in deeper leagues, he's 50% owned. He's probably owned in a lot of those. But this is why we're saying it. If 50% owned, you still might have a chance, even if you are in a deep league, and he's and he should be added. So if you're in a deep league, just check it out and see if he is on the roster already or not. If not, he should be on your team.
Justin Smoke is our next guy, only on in 15% of leagues.
What happened to this guy?
Obviously you've heard of him at this point. He's a guy that's had a lot of hype around him, hasn't really lived up to it, but the potential's there. Since the break, he's already hit 3 home runs. He's batting .280. Now, this is just a guy, if you need help at first base, he's definitely someone that still has a high upside, so if you need some help, there you go.
That's what I deal with every day with you. A lot of hype, never lived up to it. All right, next on the list. I had to just take a shot. Next on the list. Was it good? Is it just awful? Or did I hurt your feelings?
We'll talk later.
Okay. I'm probably going to get fired. Great. All right, next is Dan Herron, owned in 55% of leagues. And I know what you're thinking. Dan Herron has been god-awful this year. why is he on this list? But here's why. In his last 14 innings, he's only given up 1 earned run. 3 out of his last 4 games, he's given up 1 earned run or 0. And he's had 6 Ks in all those times. So his last 4 outings, he's been pretty well. This is a deeper league kind of thing. He's been pitching a lot better. Roto leagues at this point, looking for spot starts. If the Nationals are playing a terrible team, he might be a guy to kind of consider with a spot start.
And in those 55% of leagues that he's owned, that's probably in leagues where the player that owns him is inactive and they just never got around to dropping him. The next young pitcher we got is Nova, starting pitcher for the Yankees, only owned in 45% of leagues. This guy has had a decent amount of upside ever since he got called up, and he's starting to really turn around. 8 straight quality starts for him. At this point, I think his rotation spot has to be locked up. I see no reason why you shouldn't be picking him up. You could even make an argument that he should be owned in all leagues at this point, but for now, I still want to see a little bit more before I call him one of those.
All right, Dustin, the next finishing up segment is called
Guys to keep an eye on.
Keeping an Eye On. And the first one's Heath Bell. And Heath Bell's only owned in 35% of leagues. Out for Arizona. He's not yet the closer. Ziegler right now is getting the gig for closing. But Bell had been good, it seems like forever ago, but Bell seems like more of your prototypical closer. We think he might get a chance to surpass Ziegler at some point. He hasn't allowed an earned run since July 10th, and during that time he's dropped his ERA 1.2, so again, that's why I gotta be keeping an eye on him.
And another potential closer is Brian Shaw for Cleveland, owned in less than 5% of leagues right now. Chris Perez has pitched.
He's not shooting threes.
He's
closing
pitched
games.
okay. Oh, come on. Brian Shaw. I get you.
All right.
Since July 3rd, he hasn't given up any earned runs. Like I said, Chris Perez has been pitching okay, but he might push him a little bit. If he starts to slip, they have an option for him right behind him. He's been getting a decent amount of holds, so he might just be waiting his turn, waiting for Chris Perez to either get hurt or slip up a little bit.
That's it. I'm going to close it out. It looks like Fantasy Smack Talk Brent, on behalf of the great and knowledgeable and powerful CEO, Dustin Barkley. Thanks for joining us. Fantasy football's around the corner. All of that stuff's up. We got all our videos posted. We have rankings. We have like 40 articles. It's crazy. Get on the site, fantasysmacktalk.com. Check it all out.
Ziegler!
Oh, you better keep that in. You better not cut that out.
He's a sidewinder.
Do you call them sidewinders?
Why not?
You mean the submarine?
Yeah, I call them sidewinders.
Okay, I was a little confused.